Paving this shit crank.
Hey, you guys, we have a very unfortunate story that I'm about to read. And after I read it, I want to have just a little chat with you guys and share some personal experiences of my own, okay? So, a Texas man is charged in connection with a deadly crash, you guys, that happened along the Texas border. And I saw some other pictures, and it was a pretty gruesome scene, and I felt really, really bad, for the people that passed away. It's just really unfortunate, the things that people would do, to get out of their situations. And it reads, a Texas man charged in connection with deadly migrant crash. And like I say, this happened at the Mexico, American-Mexico, U.S.-Mexico border, excuse me. Austin, Texas, AP. A Texas man who drove a pickup truck involved in a deadly head-on crash near a Texas border city following a police chase that left 8 migrants dead was named in a criminal complaint, according to a federal complaint filed on Wednesday. So this just happened a couple days ago. The collision happened weeks after one of the deadliest highway crashes involving migrants entered the U.S. without permission and amid rising crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border. Sebastian Tovar, 24, of Austin, has been charged in transporting illegal aliens, resulting in death. According to a statement by U.S. Attorney Ashley C. Hoff and Homeland Security Investigator Special Agent in Charge Shane Folden. According to the federal complaint, Tovar was traveling north on Highway 277 on Monday in a maroon pickup truck near Del Rio, Texas. I've never heard of Del Rio, Texas. When a Texas Department of Public Safety trooper attempted to stop him for speeding following an approximate 50-mile pursuit that reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour, Tovar collided head-on with another pickup. 8 migrants in Tovar's pickup died, and the driver and passenger of the vehicle into which Tovar collided, the people remain hospitalized in stable condition, according to federal complaints. This was a vicious crash. It really was a vicious crash. Wow. According to the complaint, U.S. Border Patrol agents also encountered a beige pickup truck while directing traffic near the crash site on Highway 277. After giving them instructions, several occupants jumped out of the vehicle and fled into brush. Federal authorities said 12 undocumented immigrants who fled were apprehended later on. You guys, I'm reading from something different, and I'm just giving you this so that you can follow along. 2 of the undocumented immigrants arrested are of Mexican national and said in an interview with authorities that they illegally crossed into the U.S. border near Eagle Pass. Within about 20 migrants. I don't know. With about 20 migrants. I'm sorry, I'm reading this other article and trying to do both. I'm sorry. Which were divided between the maroon and beige pickup trucks, according to the complaint. If convicted, Tovar, who is in federal custody, could face up to life in federal prison for the said crime, you guys. An investigation by Homeland Security investigators and the State of Texas Department of Public Safety, with the assistance of the U.S. Border Patrol and Safety, is an ongoing investigation into this crime, and Tovar will be convicted for the murders. Okay, you guys, I said I was going to give my opinion, speak on some things that happened. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, it's not that late either. So, I understand 100% that a lot of people, just because they say that they came across the Mexico border, we must make one thing clear. That does not mean that they're only of Latino descent. There are other nationalities that come across the border, you guys. So understand that as well. It's not only Latino descent. So I want to talk to you about why I stand on securing the border, because I had two separate incidents that happened. One, I was thinking about telling you guys, but it was very heartbreaking and very violent. And the people that attacked us for no reason were illegal immigrants of Latino descent. We had nothing to do with anything. We were innocent victims, and it ended up in them being put in jail for a long time, not getting out. I'll put it to you like that. It was not a pretty sight. It was very vicious. And like I said before, they were illegal immigrants of Latino descent. And it was heartbreaking to testify and watch the parent, crying that her child, would never be able to see freedom. However, at the same time, there was another side of me that was like, well, if your child had not done what your child did, then he would have his freedom. You cannot bring that same behavior from your country to America and think that it's okay. In America, we have laws where criminals do certain things, we prosecute. I don't know what happens in your country. Maybe they do prosecute, maybe they don't. I don't know. Anyway, that was one. The second incident was I lived in a whole section of Los Angeles, and I had lived in my apartment for many years, and there was no need really for me at the time. I was young. I didn't understand the importance of checking your credit and keeping up with your credit, because I had my apartment, I had my little job, and everything was local. So I don't really think that I had the use or need for a car because everything was local. So I'm working, taking care of my business, and then all of a sudden, I hear everybody talking about, you know what, you should get a car in case the rainy days, you won't get caught in the rain, or you won't have to call somebody for a ride for this, and the other. And it was more or less encouraging me to step my game up. So I said, okay, let me see what's on my credit. If I have anything on my credit, because I was instructed to run my credit before I go to see if I had anything on there. And I knew that I had like a couple bills that were very low in price. All I had to do was take one paycheck and pay it off, and boom, my credit was clear. So to my surprise, I look on my credit and I looked at all these numbers. Like, what in the world is this on my credit? I was shocked. And I went down the list and I was like, I don't know any of this stuff here. I don't know any of it. What do I do? One of my friends said, you have to call those companies and inform them that that is not your debt. I said, okay. I don't know what caused me to, but I ended up calling direct cable TV, because in my apartment, I never ever had cable, because you didn't have to use anything except for the wire antennas at the time, and everything that I wanted to see was on regular TV. So I didn't have a use for cable. Oh, excuse me, you guys. So that, out of everything that I looked at, that was the first thing that I called the number. I got the number off of, I got the information, because that's when that's when the internet first really came out. So I got the number off the internet to call, and I spoke to a couple of people and I explained my situation. So they said, okay, I'm going to give you the number to this, the corporate, to the corporate person. I explained it to the corporate secretary, I believe she was. So she passed me over to the gentleman that was over everybody in the business. And so I called him and I began to explain to him, this is not me. I've never had cable in my apartment. I've been in this place for a number of years and I've never had cable. I used the antennas in order to look at television because cable did not interest me, because to me, when I would go hang out with my homegirls and we would look at cable, it would be like the same shows over and over, so it didn't interest me. So make a long story short, the guy was like, really? I was like, yes. And he was like, okay, what's your name? I gave him my name and he said, well, according to this bill, you owe XYZ. I said, whoa. They said you were ordering like the pay-per-view movies, you were ordering like Playboy movies or whatever them things are, and just ordering up just movies, just ordering. And that bill was so crazy high. I've never seen an amount on a bill that high in my life for a cable bill, but it was there. And so I was like, sir, I promise you that's not me. He said, okay, where do you live? So I gave him my address. He said, well, that's not the address on this contract. The what he was looking at. I said, well, that I don't live there. I don't even know where Bellflower is. And he was like, are you sure? I said, yes. He said, well, I need you to send me a couple things. And I was like, okay, what do you need? So I sent him a copy of my rental agreement. I had just got a renewal like a month before, and I got that. I got my California ID and I scanned all that into my computer and I shot it over to the email that he provided me. And we were still on the phone while I was doing all that stuff. And he said, okay, I got your email. And he looked, he was like, whoa. And I was like, what? He said, you're right. He said, something's wrong here. He said, I'm looking at your rental agreement. You just signed it. And it had my apartment owner's number on there, because they had like a company in, Los Angeles County. And he said, do you mind if I put you on hold? I said, no. So he called them and I'm sitting on hold, and I'm upset, but at the same time I feel this calm. And so he gets back on the phone being silly me. It was a song playing while you're on hold and I was just singing to it, and we both started laughing because he busted me in the middle of singing anyway. And then so he was like, I just talked to your landlord and your landlord told me that you have been there for a number of years. And so he said, I'm about to do something and I need you to hold on. And he said, you're going to hear me talking. And I said, okay, fine, no problem. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, he is really helping me. And all I kept saying was, thank you, God. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. And so I heard him asking if there was a dispatcher, not a dispatcher, I keep saying dispatcher, but a cable technician, one that helps, connect the cable boxes and stuff. He said, is there one? And he blocked out the sound of his voice repeating the address. And somebody answered and said, yes, I'm right down the street. And he was like, well, could you? And then it went blank. And then he said something else. And then he said, yes. And the guy was like, what's going on? He said, I think we got like a fraudulent situation going on. And he was like, yeah. He was like, yes, can you please go to this blank address? But he blocked it out every time, so I'm not hearing the address because he don't know if I'm the type of person to get in my car, find out where she is, and go bop her upside the head. So the tech goes over there, knocked on her door. Crazy, she was home. And he asked, was she, my name? And she was, and you could tell she couldn't, I can hear her voice, but you could tell that she was like a Latino descent. And he was like, "Do you speak English?" And she was like, "No." So he started speaking to her in Spanish. And the cool part about it was the head guy understood Spanish, which was amazing. And he was explaining to me that he was asking her what her name was and who she is and this, that, and the other. And the tech asked her if she would mind showing her ID. And I don't remember the story he made up, but he made up a story where she provided the ID. And the tech was able to tell him that she had everything in her, like my entire name, my date of birth, except for it was of Latino descent. And she was much, much older than me. And so the guy was like asking her something. I forget what the conversation was, but they figured that it was not me. And so the guy said, "You know what I'm going to do for you?" He said, "Because this is really bad." He said, "This bill is so..." He even basically said he's never seen a bill so high. When he said they were ordering like the paid movies, they were ordering paid movies back to back to back to back, basically, is what he was saying. And this is what caused the bill to be so high. Whatever the latest movies were out, whoever it was ordering back to back to back to back just before the month ended, excuse me. And it continued to go on, and they were barely making the minimum payment, but it got so bad to the point where it actually hit my credit. And so he said, "I'm going to do you a favor." I still have the letter today. I didn't throw it away as a testimony. I still have the letter today, the letterhead and everything from that company. And I was so grateful. He emailed it over to me. And he went into good detail. And he said, "You can send this to Equifax. You can send this to all Experian. You can send it to all the, I don't know the name of all the TransUnion, I believe it is. I think I said them all. But I was able to send that letter to every last one of those credit bureaus. And his contact information was on the letter. And he told me, don't ever throw that letter away, to keep it just in case for future. And I still have it. And so I wish I was able to pull it out, but I can't. I would have attached it so you can see I wasn't kidding. And I sent that information. And he said, if they contact me, he said, or if they don't contact me, I'm going to contact them, because he said if she went this far, I'm sure that she's done other things. And I was just sitting there like, who do I call next? I got so busy, I forgot. I was just excited for that one thing at that moment, one hurdle. And so I get a call from him, and I'm like, who? You don't remember who? I was like, oh. He made a little joke, "Oh, you forgot me already?" And I just started laughing, and I was like, "Yes, how can I help you?" And he was like, "Well, I spoke to someone at all three of the credit reporting companies." And he said, I gave them, we spoke, and I explained to them. And he said it was weird, because I really felt compelled to do this. He said it was weird, but I explained to them that they might want to contact you and find out what else is on your credit from this woman that does not belong to you. I was like, for real? And so I ended up, I forgot how I did it, but they ended up asking me, what disputes do I want to make? But based on the I guess the conversation they had with him, the stuff that I disputed, you guys, that man helped all that stuff come up off of me by just taking time with me and helping me out. And you probably saying, what does this have to do with it? What it has to do with is when you have a lot of people coming into the country of America or wherever illegally, they scramble to establish themselves. So if they have to steal someone's identity in order to establish a lifestyle so that they don't get caught, they do that. There's a place in Los Angeles, California, where they can get fake birth certificates, social security numbers, driver licenses, and they can get fake work histories, all that stuff. And they went and they go down there and they pay and they establish an identity. And it could be you, the one that's listening to me. It could be your family member. It could be your friend. It could be your co-worker. It could be anybody. And these people are going through literal hell trying to remove these things off of their credit. Because the people coming here illegally, they know, wait a minute, I'm here illegally. I got to find a way so that I can stay under the radar. If I get caught, then I can get an identity so they won't put me out of the country. You know, even my brother is already established. He has the car he wants. He has the house he wants. He doesn't need another car. He got a letter in the mail last year, 2020, and it's told him, hey, if you don't come and get your car, we impounded your car, and you need to come get your car. And my brother phoned the people like, what car? And they told him the type of car. He said, excuse me, but I don't have that kind of car. They were like, is your name such and such? He said, yeah, that's not me. My brother had to do a lot of research to find the company in which this guy used his name and his credit in order to purchase this car. And my brother was able to get that cleared up, and they found out from the car lot where the guy bought the car from and used my brother's identity. They said, no, this is not the guy that purchased the car from us. The guy that purchased the car from us is a whole nother nationality. And so these things are happening to people. And just think, if my brother would not have been contacted by them, what if this guy did not abandon the car? What if this didn't happen? My brother, and say the guy didn't pay the car or whatever, and my brother had no clue, then my brother's credit from what he worked on would have been totally screwed up. That's what I mean, you know, and I'm not trying to bash them, but when they come to this country, these are some of the things that they do. I'm not going to talk about the crime because I've already explained that part. So these are the dangers of people crossing the borders and we don't know who they are. Either these things take place or they end up getting killed. From this dude, what's his name, Tovar, driving like a maniac, and the other truck. You had no business doing that. You had no business bringing them people over here illegally. Now they lost their lives. I wish they would have did it a different way. At least waited at the border, at the holding places, until they were heard. But it's going to be a lot more tragedies like this, you guys, by people trying to cross the border illegally. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening because people are trying to get to America. We have to tighten up. The people that are already here, I don't see a need for them to be deported. The ones that have been here for years, there's no need to deport them. They already have become Americanized. That doesn't make sense to me. But the new people that are coming in illegally, they need to go back and wait and see what the process is. If you're not welcome to come this time, try again. Maybe the second time, maybe the third time, maybe the fourth time. But you're hurting innocent people when you do these types of things. And I know you want a better way of life. Everybody does. But do it the right way, and you won't be putting your life in jeopardy. You won't be in the hands of a careless person. You won't be in the hands of a person that don't give a darn if you breathe or you die. This is not a bash illegal immigrants. This is I'm trying to look out and give you information to come here the right way so that you don't get hurt, that you don't get killed, that you don't have to look over your back. You understand? So I hope that my message is not one of hatred, but I pray that they find this message in love. So you guys, until next video, I just don't want to see any more stories like this. I really don't. This is heartbreaking. You know, it's really, really heartbreaking. Now someone lost a loved one and they'll never be able to get them back. They'll never be able to embrace them. They'll never be able to talk to them. They'll never be able to laugh with them. They'll never be able to cry with them, share stories because of a senseless, careless act. So you guys, until next time, take care of yourself. And another thing, check your credit like frequently, you guys, because I know you would hate to be a victim of identity theft. So until next time, you guys, be blessed and take care of yourself and take my message in love. Don't forget to hit that like button, that post notification bell, and that subscribe button. And don't forget to tell a friend, you guys. Everyone is welcome to my channel. Come on and join the family. Talk to you later. Bye.